Hey, honest question. Why does discipline completely disappear at night? This morning I woke up motivated and told myself today would be productive. I planned to eat healthy, finish work, maybe even go to the gym. But now it's 11 p.m. and I just ordered pizza again. And the weird part is that morning me genuinely meant it.
That's the classic situation where morning you and night you become two completely different people. The morning version has energy and good intentions, but the evening version just wants comfort and convenience. What you're experiencing actually has a name. It's called decision fatigue. Your brain basically runs out of decision-making energy during the day.
So you're telling me my late-night pizza habit is actually a psychological phenomenon? That somehow makes me feel slightly better about it, because it really does feel like my brain changes personalities by the evening. I start the day disciplined and end the day negotiating with a pizza delivery app.
The idea behind decision fatigue is actually pretty simple. Your brain makes thousands of decisions every single day. Some of them are tiny, like choosing coffee or tea, checking your messages, or deciding what music to play. Others are bigger, like work decisions or how to spend your time. Even though each decision feels small, every one of them uses a bit of mental energy.
I guess I never really thought about how many choices happen in a normal day. You wake up and immediately start making decisions. What to wear, what to eat, whether to check notifications or start working. Then the entire day continues like that with constant little choices. It makes sense that eventually your brain gets tired of it.
Exactly. Think of it like your phone battery. In the morning, you're at 100%, so resisting distractions and making good choices is easy. But as the day continues, every decision drains the battery a little bit. By the evening, you're operating on something like 10 or 15%. And when the battery gets that low, your brain starts choosing the easiest option available.
So why does the brain work this way in the first place? It feels like a terrible system if our discipline disappears halfway through the day. You would think evolution would design something a little more reliable. Instead, it feels like the brain just gives up by the evening.
Exactly. Think of it like your phone battery. In the morning, you're at 100%, so resisting distractions and making good choices is easy. But as the day continues, every decision drains the battery a little bit. By the evening, you're operating on something like 10 or 15%. And when the battery gets that low, your brain starts choosing the easiest option available.
Which explains why healthy dinner plans suddenly turn into pizza orders. The brain just wants something quick and satisfying. It's not thinking about long-term goals anymore. It's just looking for the fastest reward available. And pizza is a very convincing reward.
Another reason decision fatigue is so common today is something called choice overload. Modern life gives us way more options than humans evolved to handle. If you walk into a grocery store, you'll see dozens of types of cereal, yogurt, sauces, and snacks. Your brain has to evaluate all those possibilities. That constant comparison quietly drains mental energy.
Yeah, grocery stores are actually kind of overwhelming when you think about it. Even something simple like buying pasta sauce turns into a 10-minute decision. There are different brands, flavors, ingredients, and prices. By the time you finish shopping, your brain has already made a huge number of choices.
Exactly, and by the time evening arrives, your brain just doesn't want to evaluate anything anymore. Instead of comparing healthy dinner options, it chooses the easiest thing it already knows. That's why people default to the same comfort foods. And in many cases, that comfort food is late-night pizza.
I like the battery analogy because it explains the experience perfectly. In the morning, you can ignore junk food and stay focused pretty easily. But after a full day of work and responsibilities, your mental energy feels completely drained. Suddenly, even small tasks feel difficult.
That's exactly what researchers mean when they talk about willpower as a limited resource. Every time you resist something tempting or force yourself to concentrate, you use some of that resource. Ignoring your phone, staying focused in meetings, or choosing a healthy meal all require self-control. Individually, those moments seem small, but together they slowly drain your mental battery.
And once that battery gets low, discipline basically disappears. Instead of thinking about long-term benefits, your brain starts looking for immediate relief. That's when people start scrolling endlessly or ordering comfort food. And somehow that comfort food often happens to be pizza.
One important detail is that not all decisions drain the same amount of energy. Some choices are automatic and barely cost anything. But conflict decisions are very expensive for your brain. These are situations where two parts of your brain want different things.
Like choosing between working on a difficult project or watching Netflix. One part of your brain wants productivity and progress. The other part wants relaxation and entertainment. That internal argument can go on for several minutes.
Exactly. That internal debate consumes mental energy. And if you've already had dozens of those debates during the day, your brain eventually stops fighting. It just picks the comfortable option automatically. That's why difficult decisions become much harder late in the day.
I also notice that bad decisions happen more often when I've had a stressful day. If everything goes smoothly, discipline feels easier. But after deadlines, annoying emails, or traffic, suddenly I want comfort food and distractions.
Stress definitely accelerates decision fatigue. When your brain is stressed, it prioritizes immediate relief instead of long-term planning. It wants something that quickly improves your mood. That could be junk food, social media, gaming, or anything that provides fast reward.
So after a stressful day, your brain basically says, forget the healthy plan, just give me something enjoyable right now. And that's how people end up ordering food they never intended to eat. It feels like stress pushes the brain into survival mode.
Another interesting thing about decision fatigue is that it affects everyone. Intelligence or discipline doesn't make you immune. Even highly successful people experience it. That's why many of them reduce the number of daily decisions they have to make.
Right. I've heard about people who wear the same style of clothes every day. At first, it sounds strange, but it actually makes sense. They're removing unnecessary decisions from their routine. That leaves more mental energy for important work.
Exactly. Some people also eat the same breakfast every day or schedule workouts at the same time. The goal isn't to make life boring. The goal is to protect mental energy for things that actually matter.
So, if willpower is unreliable, what's the better strategy? It seems like relying on motivation alone isn't going to work long term. There has to be a more stable approach.
That approach is habits. Habits require very little decision-making once they're established. When something becomes a habit, your brain performs it automatically without debate. You don't ask yourself whether you feel motivated today.
So if someone always goes to the gym at the same time, they're not negotiating with themselves every day. They just follow the routine automatically. That removes the mental battle entirely.
Another powerful factor is environment. Your surroundings often influence behavior more than willpower does. If tempting options are easily available, your tired brain will probably choose them. Convenience plays a huge role.
That makes sense with food delivery apps. If the app is on your phone and you're tired, ordering food takes about 30 seconds. There's almost no friction. That makes the decision extremely easy.
Exactly. But if ordering requires more effort, your tired brain might skip it. The same principle applies to snacks at home. If unhealthy food isn't available, you're far less likely to eat it.
There's also the situation where people skip meals and then lose control later. I've definitely experienced that. After not eating for a long time, suddenly everything looks delicious. At that point, healthy choices become much harder.
That happens because your brain needs energy to function properly. When you're very hungry, self-control becomes weaker. Your brain starts prioritizing quick energy sources. That's one reason people become irritable when they're hungry.
Which explains the famous hangry situation. Hungry plus angry turns into some very questionable food decisions, and those decisions often involve large amounts of fast food.
One practical solution is to simply reduce the number of daily decisions. Small routines can protect your mental energy. For example, eating the same breakfast most days removes one decision from your morning. Planning workouts in advance removes another.
That sounds simple but powerful. If fewer choices appear during the day, your brain stays fresher longer. That means you'll have more energy for important tasks, and you're less likely to fall into convenience traps later.
Another effective strategy is making decisions earlier in the day. Morning versions of ourselves usually have more mental energy. That makes planning easier and more rational. Evening versions are tired and more impulsive.
So instead of deciding dinner at 10 p.m., you decide it at noon. Instead of debating whether to exercise after work, you schedule it earlier. That way, tired you doesn't have to make the decision.
Exactly. The earlier decision protects your future self from making a worse choice later.
All right, let's summarize everything we talked about. There's a lot happening behind what seems like simple procrastination or food choices. It's not just about discipline.
Your brain has limited mental energy, and every decision uses some of it. Throughout the day, those small decisions add up and slowly drain your mental resources. Stress, internal debates, and hunger make the problem even worse. When your mental battery gets low, your brain starts choosing the easiest option available.
So the big takeaway is actually pretty reassuring. If your discipline disappears late at night, it doesn't necessarily mean you're lazy. It often just means your brain is mentally exhausted.
Exactly. The solution isn't simply trying harder every evening. Instead, you build systems that reduce decisions and make good behavior easier. Habits, routines, and smart environments all protect your mental energy. And when your brain has more energy, better decisions become much easier.
Which hopefully means fewer late-night pizza orders in the future.
At least in theory.
Thanks for spending this time with us. Catch you in the next one.